I'm going to be demonstrating some of the new features found in version 7 of Band in a Box. Let's load in a song. First we'll use one of the new features, which is this F button standing for favorite songs. This will load in the favorite songs that you've loaded in most recently. So this last song that I've loaded in recently is called J Basie 1. Makes it very easy to find the last songs that you've loaded in, which tend to be the ones that you want to load in again. So this is a song in the style of Basie, which is a big band style, and this song happens to have a harmony saved with it. If you ever want to save a song with a harmony, you need to not use the regular save command. You need to choose this one, Save Song with Patches and Harmony, which Alt F2 will do, and it allows you to check this box, which is Save Current Melody Harmony with Song. We've also saved a soloist setting with this song, and you can see in version 7 there's a lot more things that you can save. For example, this thing that says on means that you can request that any of these instruments be off. For example, if you didn't want drums saved with that song, they would be off. And you can have, of course, patch settings with this as well. And you can fill in the patch numbers that are up on the top if you want to save. In addition, you can save settings for normally Band in a Box will not save your volume and reverb and panning chorus settings, because those really aren't a feature of a particular song, and you might change your module or change your volume settings, and you don't want the song to be always changing those things for you. So if on the other hand you do want to save volume settings, you would just select that, or if you have customized reverb settings, etc., you can do that. So this song, the Basie demo, was a demo that we made, and we wanted super sax harmony to be set, so we saved it, and we also wanted a soloist setting to be saved. So let's play this style. This is a nice style called Basie, which of course uses the classic piano styles played by Basie, and it has a brass big band background. You're going to hear a melody that we created, and there's the melody there, and you're going to hear it played with a super sax harmony. So let's hear what it sounds like. As it plays, I'm going to demonstrate some of the new features of Band in a Box. One is the loop screen feature, which is a feature which will repeat the whole screen over and over so you can study one part. There is a hotkey for that. It's the numpad key pressing the 1 button. So let me turn it off so you can see the rest of the song. New feature, if we were trying to sight read this music, it would be pretty good, except we don't get to see what happens in the next bar. This is why we've introduced this new feature called Scroll Ahead. So you can scroll ahead by 1 bar or 2 bars. So let's scroll ahead by a bar and see what happens on the notation. So when you get to the 4th bar, it shows the next bar. It'll do the same thing, so that if you're sight reading, you can now read this part. So this is pretty essential to somebody who's sight reading along to Band in a Box. Another feature you'll notice in version 7 is the notes highlight as they're playing with a red highlight note. Right. Now, another feature you can do in version 7 is change of harmonies at any bar. So this is a song that happens to have the super sax harmony in it, but let's put in a change of harmony. So if we press the F5 button, which is also available from the Edit menu, we can now put in a change of melody harmony. So it started out on super sax, but we can change it to maybe something like Glenn Miller harmony at bar 23, and then maybe at bar 25 we'll change it to big band brass and that sort of thing. So now we can hear the song. We'll start it from bar 9 by pressing Control G. Now you're going to hear a change to Glenn Miller. Now you're going to hear a big band brass, etc. So you can put in as many changes of harmony as you want at any bar, and you'll notice that it can occur at a bar and a beat number by typing in that number. Also, with some of the newer styles discs, we've incorporated brushes for the drums. Because brushes require a special patch change, you'll need to have a synthesizer that has brushes available, and typically these are the newer General MIDI modules or the Roland GS units or the Yamaha XG units. We've identified any style with brush with this tilde sign in the name of the style. So typically there are jazz styles beginning with a J or Latin styles beginning with an L. And so an example of one is the MD waltz, which is a style in a Miles Davis type of style. And so let's load in the song we composed for the Miles Davis waltz, and this has brushes so we can hear what they sound like. Just for fun in this song we're going to put a solo on in the middle choruses. So it's a 3-chorus song, and the song currently has a melody in it, as you can see. Here's the melody track, and it has a melody throughout the song. You can see the second chorus, etc., has a melody to it. Now we want to have a solo created for this song, and we want the solo to peacefully coexist with the melody, meaning we should press this button, melody and solo. What this does is, in the first chorus it will not solo because there is a melody present. In the middle choruses it will solo. In the last chorus it won't solo because there's no melody present. This gives a natural sort of sequence of events which occurs when a soloist will only solo in the middle choruses. And it also checks this mute melody in middle selection. The auto suggest function has already chosen a jazz waltz trumpet style, which seems like a reasonable style to use. So we can either press the OK button or just double click on this jazz waltz trumpet. And now we're going to hear you can hear the brushes playing drums. You can change the style of the brushes if you want to the brushes kit. And in the second chorus and the third chorus of the song, you're going to hear a solo made up by a band in a box in the waltz style. This is the melody. Point is, the program's automatically going to mute the melody in the middle choruses because we've selected that option in the soloist. So let's hear what the solo does with this song. You'll notice the phrasing it does for waltzes are very different than the phrases it does for other types of styles, which is consistent with waltzes are usually a lot more sparse soloing and that sort of thing. and the solo will stop after the second chorus because it's only soloing the middle chorus. So the solo has stopped and now the melody is going to play here. So that was a demonstration of that feature. There's some dedicated features to do some of the same sort of things. If you weren't playing solos but you still wanted to mute the melody during the middle choruses of any song, you can select this option, mute melody during middle choruses. So that means if you load in any song that has a melody in it, for example the bassy song that we did, it will mute the melody in the middle choruses of that song. Another example is that you can force a song to a number of choruses. If you were, say, practicing a lot of jazz tunes, you may have the songs entered all as 3 choruses, but you might be in a mood to practice 10 or 12 choruses of each song that you load. So you can set this force song to number of choruses, and you could type in like a number like 8, and this would mean that any song is now going to be 8 choruses. So if you load in that Miles Davis waltz demo, it's going to be 8 choruses. A nice thing about this function is that it automatically is going to fill in the melody for you, so that it's not going to leave gaps. It'll fill up with the melody, and the same thing would apply to the soloist track. So something like this, if you use it in combination with the mute melody during middle choruses, we could play it from near the end of the now we're free to solo to our heart's content for all those 6 choruses. And that's a pretty good feature to use when you're practicing. Another neat feature you'll notice is when you load a song in, if you go and view the melody, you'll find that there's an important setting that concerns how the melody is displayed. This is called the tick offset. And this accounts for music that's played slightly after the beat, which most jazz music and pop music is played. Previously, you needed to set this value usually to a negative number, so the notation would be pushed a little bit back. In version 7, this is set automatically for you by scanning the track when the melody is loaded in. So you can notice that on this song it's been automatically set to -11, which improves the appearance of the notation. A new feature in version 7 as well is something called style aliases. Currently you may have a lot of songs saved in a certain style, for example in the jazz swing style. So let's find a song that's in that style. And when you load in the song, if you choose the option Open Filtered by Style, it's displaying just the SG1s, which is just the jazz swing style. So we load this up, and you'll notice that the style did not go to jazz swing. It went to Wynton K style, and you'll also notice that there's an arrow symbol here. What this means is that we've created an alias so that any song loaded in the jazz swing style will use Wynton K instead. The purpose of this function is if you get a new styles disk or you make a new style yourself, you wouldn't want to have to change all the songs you've made to this new style that you prefer, or you might be just trying out the style for a few hours. So you can use the style alias, and the way it works is as follows. On the options menu, there's a menu item called style alias, and here you can define new style aliases, or you can remove the style alias. So here, to define one to change the jazz style to Wynton K, let's first of all, we'll clear the one that's there so there's no alias defined, and let's redefine this one. You choose the original style that you want to replace, and we'll find the jazz style called ZZ Jazz. Of course, all the built-in styles in Band in a Box that are on the main menu, the styles menu, begin with ZZ, and then we'll say we want to replace that with another style. maybe for this demonstration, maybe we'll change it to this J Oleo style. So then if we ever want to load in a song in swing, instead when we choose jazz swing, it will choose the Oleo style, which is a useful feature, and then we can check out any song we want in that particular style. You can see the tilde sign, which indicates brushes will be present on that style. With version 7, there's new ways to load in patches. In addition to the list of the general MIDI patches here and the favorite patches that you can select, there's a new method called higher bank patches. If you press this button on this plus button, you'll see a list of patches that are available for various types of synthesizers, and they're always patches that are available on higher banks. And with the general MIDI system, there can be two types of bank controllers used. One is the MSB, which is controller 0, and that's used typically by Roland. And then there's the LSB bank, which is used by Yamaha, and some of the synthesizer companies use both of the controllers. So you can dial an exact controller information that you want here, or you can just use the fact that we've made this patch maps for you. Shipping with Bannon in a Box, we've made patch maps for the GS, which refers to the Roland GS series. We've made some patch maps for the JV1080, the Roland XG, and there's also patches for the XG series as well. So this is a Roland GS unit that we're using now. So let's load in a song. Let's load in New Age, and we may as well have a solo happening. It's automatically picked New Age solo for us, and we'll just listen to the music and then we'll change the patches. This is a song with bass, piano, drums, and a pad for the strings, and you can hear the solo part is being generated by the program. Use these higher banks that are available. So press the soloist button. Now when we press the plus, this will apply to the soloist part. So if we wanted to change the patch to any of these, it would work. So now it's changed it to detuned Rhodes, which is patch 5, bank 8 on the Roland unit. If you were up here and you wanted to search for a patch, you could just type in the name of the patch, detuned, and it'll find the first one with that name, and then you could search and it'll find for the second one with that name. So it makes it pretty easy to find patches just by their names. Now you can also edit this file. This file is called gs.pat, and you can edit it just by pressing the edit button. That launches a Notepad, which is available to you in Windows 95 or Windows 3.1, and you can see that we could call this wind patch or something like that, and then just save it, and then you'll see when you get back into the screen that it's changed your patch if you update it. Wind patch. So you can change the names of them, or you can add additional patches, or you can add comments about it yourself. There we go, and that explains that function. Let's load in another song. We'll load in a funk song here, and just play it, and we can show you some new features in version 7. This is a style called Funk 70s 2, and if you press the solo button, it's automatically picked a soloist for you. I can explain a little bit about the soloist dialogue. This style is in 16th notes, and So it's telling us that these are the list of soloist types for 16th notes. You'll see that on the list that there are soloists listed, and then there are soloists in brackets. The ones that are written in brackets wouldn't really be appropriate for 16th notes. In fact, most of them aren't appropriate for 16th notes. If you wanted to see just the soloists that would be appropriate, you can press the All button and to deselect it, and now you're seeing just the soloists that would work over this particular setting. Double time would be if you wanted the soloist to play twice as many notes, so instead of 16th notes they'd play 32nd notes. Usually you wouldn't want that type of thing in 16th notes, but over 8th notes on a slow tempo you'd probably want something like that. If you press the favorites button, it works like elsewhere in Band in a Box. It will give you some of your recently chosen soloists. So for example, we could choose this Pop 16th Crusader style, which was the one that it was suggested for us in the beginning. We have some options here. The Crusaders style comes with a trumpet selected. This is the memo about the solo, and you can have a style built into a soloist so that the soloist itself will change the style. You can have a harmony built into it, so the soloist will come with a harmony. In this case, we just have a trumpet patch and there's no change. This is an important one, that you can change the instrument with each chorus. Typically in a band taking solos, they'll each take a chorus and it'll change the instrument. So if you select this box with the soloist, it will change typically amongst the instruments used in a band. So if this is Crusaders, you're going to get changes like trumpet to trombone to saxophone to electric piano. All of this can be edited using the edit button here. Solo mode, normally it should be in normal mode, which will solo throughout the song. It could be in fills mode, which will just play sparsely. It could be in a trading fours mode, which will mean it will play for 4 bars and then let you play for 4 bars effectively by not playing, and then essentially trade fours. Solo Wizard is a wizard-like feature where the solo will not play and you go over to your MIDI keyboard or your QWERTY keyboard and you just play any notes you want, and it will trigger intelligent notes on this soloist. So let's go into the normal mode for this Crusader song. This particular song doesn't have a melody, so any of these settings will still result in the solo happening for the whole song, and we'll just press play and it'll generate a solo for us. Now the solo track in Band in a Box is a track just like the melody track. So any operation you could perform on the melody track can also be done with the soloist track. The solo track gets its own channel associated with it. The melody track goes on 4, the solo track goes on channel 8. So you can assign patches, volume, etc. to it. Notice that we've changed the solo to a different patch in the second chorus because it was set to change instrument with each chorus. So we're on a Fender Rhodes type of patch now, and you can increase the volume or change the reverb settings for the soloist track. You'll notice all these options on the melody on the solo track. These are more or less the same options that are available on the melody track. For example, you can humanize the soloist part to affect how late the playing is or how even the 16th notes are. You can see that 60 would be perfectly even 16th notes, but Band in a Box has generated slightly swung 16th notes. But if you wanted to change the soloist patch, you could just change it to a different instrument. So that's a feature. This particular song, you'll notice, is 1 to 12 for 3 choruses, and then it has a tag associated with it. A tag is similar to a coda, that on the 3rd time through the last chorus, after bar 12, it will start playing from bar 13 to bar 32. One new feature in version 7 is that you can unfold this song, so that if you unfold it, you can unfold it to one big chorus. So it'll unfold the entire chord sequence of the song.